Welcome to Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup Highlight Show. We have reached the first group from the second stage of the competition. Tonight's winners will go through to finals night just before Christmas. And we have Shaun Chipperfield and Karl Sutton, who won the tournament last year. Also, we have the Northern Irish pairing of Declan Brennan and Ronan McCarthy, who made it through to the final and lost out in that dramatic 6-red shootout. Completing the group, we also have Ultimate Pool professional Josh Kane and newly announced Ultimate Pool wildcard for next year, John McAllister, and then the pro pairing of Jimmy Croxton and Liam White. A very tough night to call. We're going to start off with our first match. It's the defending champions, Shaun Chipperfield and Karl Sutton, taking on the local favourites, Jimmy Croxton and Liam White.
Well, here we go then. Second stage of the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup gets underway, and it is the defending champions that get us underway, and Shaun Chipperfield with the break, playing with Karl Sutton. They came through in dramatic fashion in last year's final against Ronan McCarthy and Declan Brennan. But first thing they're going to have to do tonight is sit down and watch, because a dry break gives Jimmy Croxton and Liam White first opportunity. If you are joining us for the first time, then let me just run you through what we have going on here. It is 4 pairs in this group, and it will be all pairs playing each other, so 6 matches across the night. Top of the table will go through to finals night. If there is a pair tied at the end of the night, then we will have a 6-red shootout. Each match will be 20 minutes on the match clock, a race to 4 frames, whichever comes first. And we'll also have a 30-second shot clock until the final 5 minutes. Hope that all makes sense. It is the Joker that gets the first pot on the board and sets Liam White up. And a pretty decent opportunity, you'd say, Gaz, for the opening frame. Just a couple of careful shots to play.
Yeah, and the first thing on that was an incredible break, because if you notice, obviously there's 15 balls on the table, 11 of them were above the middle pocket line. It's not very often you see that, and that would just go to show the amount of force that Shaun hit that break with. Quite incredible, really, that he didn't make a ball for 11 balls to pass that. If you were to draw a pocket pass, draw a line across those middle pockets, 11 balls to pass that's quite incredible.
Yeah, and that shows the full frustration of pool players, doesn't it? The break was great, but it was dry. A nice shot from Liam to put Jimmy in a good position to pop that one, and now they're dealing with the 2 trickiest balls straight away.
Oh, it was an incredible shot, because the first shot that Liam played there, he potted the red in the middle, screwed it off the top cushion with left-hand side. Okay, I know he brushed past the red first, but to drop Jimmy right behind that first red into that corner was a fantastic shot, although I'm not sure that's quite as fantastic. Might not look like much, but he's got a little bit of a funny angle on this one into the corner. You can see a little bit of a grimace from him. He's going to pop this into the left corner, but he has the off angle where the cue ball wants to track to the right, and because of it, he's tried to pinch an angle and has made the fatal error of taking his eye off the pot.
Yeah, came across that one. So their chance comes and goes. So it's over to the defending champions. And a little cluster of 3 balls there that will give them some attention, but they'll be happy to get to the table.
Yeah, the cluster of 3 balls that you just mentioned at first glance might look like a problem, but they're actually not, because the one that's furthest away, where he's just pointing his cue now, actually plants onto the other one. As long as he controls where the ball's going that he's actually going to strike, which is this yellow now, as long as he makes sure that that doesn't get tied up in any way next to the other yellow, this is pretty routine, because the 8 ball does pass the red to the bottom right corner. As you can see, that plant went. The one that he struck doesn't pass, but the other one does. So it's just a matter of picking your route, picking your last ball that offers the easiest position down to the 8 ball.
Well, this one does go, which helps.
Well, yeah, that helps, because the other one now that's over this left centre will be his last ball. Leaving that as your last ball. You can see he's pointing with his cue again there, almost doing our job for us of telling you where he's going to have the cue ball, and what that does is leaves you're always trying to leave a natural angle in this position. So the natural angle is where the cue ball naturally tracks down the table without any manipulation of side spin or back spin. So just naturally float down to the 8 ball, something like that.
Just what they wanted. Opening frame of the night, chance to free their arm up with a fairly open table, and the defending champions are up and running, 1-0 up.
Winning breeds confidence. So, what about this?
It's golden duck.
We had a golden duck.
A golden duck straight away.
That's what we were talking about. That first
Cue ball
break.
straight in. Oh, what a disaster! Jimmy Croxton, golden duck, and just like that, 2-0 down. So essentially, Jimmy gets the break when. Oh, golden break as well, straight away. Golden duck, golden break. It's 3-0. Unbelievable.
So this is the first. We have a golden duck and then a golden break. Look at Liam, puts his head in his hands.
That's incredible.
And then so does Jimmy.
And Shaun can't look.
Chipperfield and Sutton wrap things up in the next for a comfortable 4-0 win. On to match 2, and Declan Brennan and Ronan McCarthy versus Josh Kane and John McAllister.
The Pairs Cup might be that, playing with John McAllister, who will be a professional with Ultimate Pool next year. And we get going here with Declan Brennan with the first break, and he gets kicked in off to the top right corner. He actually hit the break quite well there, and ball's flying in, but cue ball's one of them. One of those frustrating ones as well, because you think the cue ball's safe and you think, right, okay, you start to line up your visit, and all of a sudden you're going to have to sit and watch, and it's a pretty good layout here for the Coventry boys to take on. When we saw them in their first round, they didn't do a huge amount of talking out there. They kind of just gelled and he kind of just flowed out there, having a good chat about their sort of order here. Be interesting to see how, as the night plays out, whether they will continue like that, because they didn't do much of it in the first stage.
Yeah, and this is the run out that you want, isn't it, in the first frame? As I said, first frame is so important when you're playing a best of 7, not only on the scoreboard, but to help you settle. First shot that Josh played there wasn't the best. Might have, again, not looked like much, but he topped across the table. He needed to leave John straight on that one so he could screw past that red and get the cue ball closer to this. Still fully expect him to make it. It's just he should have been a foot or two closer.
Yeah, and it goes. Still not quite got the cue ball where they want to there. They're sort of still trying to find the perfect cue ball.
And that's what happens when generally at 8 ball is when you run out of position, it gradually snowballs where the next one becomes a little bit more difficult, and then the next one, and before you know it, a miss comes.
And there comes the miss. Disappointing start for Josh and John.
Yeah, and believe it or not, all that came really from the very first shot that Josh played. He just topped across the table, and you may have thought, oh, it's okay, he's on the yellow, but if he was straight, those yellows were, for these two guys anyway, unmissable. One bad positional shot that's a couple of inches out, and that's the result.
Well, the man in form misses his first shot. Ronan McCarthy with a surprising miss here. Both pairings have now had a chance.
Yeah, that was a poor one. He was trying to kick the red that's over this right centre. It is glued to the knuckle and it doesn't pot in the middle, and he was, after trying to kick it over the middle, got both parts of the shot wrong. Missed the pot and missed the cannon on the red. And even worse than that, hasn't even covered the pocket. The yellow does pass the red.
Yeah, I just wonder, this yellow at the bottom that they're on isn't the greatest of angles. Can they force up for the other one or not? Yeah, just about.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that red that's sitting in the middle of the table almost plays the size of a beach ball, because he needs to make sure he either comes on the left side of it or the right side. John had the option there of just dropping that in and letting Josh just drop this red in the middle. Sorry, drop this yellow in the middle. As I said, that red in the middle of the table plays like a beach ball. He hit it.
They'll take the result though, won't they?
Yeah, he got a little bit lucky. It's gone nice.
Yeah, a shade fuller on that red contact, and all of a sudden the red goes up towards the yellow, and they're not on it at all. So a slightly edgy start from both pairs here.
So the nice smooth cue action there of John McAllister.
A slightly unique cue action for this version of the game, but it's one that really works well for him. It's just so composed and gets through the ball beautifully. You'll be the first one to say, Gareth, that we have seen some great performances in one-off matches from him. Oh, golden break. It's just like that. Another golden break.
What is going on tonight?
What is going on? The 8-ball won't stop going in. And it took him a while to notice.
Yeah, he didn't see it.
Ronan McCarthy won frame 3 after John McAllister had missed the 8-ball. We join Josh Kane breaking in the second Scotch frame.
Championship final, and then he, in the World Doubles, lost in the semi-final with Declan Brennan. So they're the sort of the other tournaments he played in between. But in individual play, it's like 5 straight. It's incredible.
Look at Josh's break. Lots of power from the left-hand side. Makes the top ball into the right middle. I think just a word on our referee tonight, Orich. He's been wrecking the ball superbly. I mean, we've seen 2 golden breaks, we've seen a golden duck, and we've seen the balls just get splattered all over the table every time somebody's broke.
It's actually been noticeable how well he racks the balls. I know that sounds strange, because all the referees, you want to get absolutely perfect, but we've seen that over the last couple of months.
At this level, you might be thinking, well, the referee's the referee, they just chuck him in the triangle, take it off, but there's a lot more to it than that. Racking the balls at this level is so important.
The thing that makes me laugh hearing you say that, though, Gareth, is, as we just see, they're okay. I thought they might just let themselves in trouble with that cannon. Is that I know, and you know how important it is to have the balls racked perfectly. But when you're practicing, I've seen you do it. You don't put any effort into it. You literally, you don't care if that front ball's an inch away from the rest. You'll just go with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to maybe start asking them to do from now on. Can they just drop the front ball an inch off? That's the way forward.
I guess it helps when you have the power that you have in your break. They're in perfect shape here to not let the missed 8-ball in the previous frame hurt them.
Yeah, for all you guys at home thinking about wanting to learn the patterns of the game and which balls to take in which order, this is the perfect frame to explain it in quite simple terms. Of they've worked backwards on the finish here, so they picked the ball that was going to be last, which is now the yellow, next to his arm, which is now this last ball. They picked this one last because this offers the easiest position to the 8-ball, and then simply work back towards it. Trace of right-hand side required here, so it just spins it off the cushion like that. Picking that ball meant they couldn't really not get good position on the 8-ball.
And they're going to run the clock down as well, because we are into the final 5 minutes and 15 seconds a shot. So it's to their advantage to run that clock down as they go 3-1 in front.
The clock ran out in the next frame, giving McAllister and Kane the win. Brennan and McCarthy are straight back in action up against Croxton and White, and the Northern Irish pairing won the opening frame. Jimmy Croxton has the break in frame 2.
100% wrong decision.
Although credit to Jimmy, that's a fantastic break. Hit them really well.
Well, when you have one guy that can hit the break twice as hard as the other guy, when you're playing a best of 7, and those first frame or two is so important, you have to put the bigger breaker in. For example, Ronan and Decky. Ronan is on this incredible run of form and is the hottest player on the planet at the minute. But he's letting Decky break first because he has a bigger break than Ronan. That is a fact.
So let me ask you this, as obviously you're playing in the competition, Gareth, so you obviously have to pick your order for your partnership before the match starts, but do you do that before or after the lag? So
you do it before.
You do what I'm saying is, are they losing, they're picking Liam to go first and then losing the lag, so you're missing out on Liam's break?
Yeah, but why would you want to lose the lag and give your opponents the chance to break and clear first when you're playing a best of 7?
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is that they were picking Liam and hoping to win the lag, and then they're losing the lag. So Liam would have had to break in the opening frame if they'd won the lag, is the way I was thinking. But obviously it went to Declan because Declan and Ronan won the lag, which is done while we're away at the break. So you lag for the first break in the match.
You lag for the first break, but if you lose the lag, then of course you would then just pick your player to break second. So of course they're trying to win the lag, and then Liam would break first. If they lose the lag, they are breaking second, but I don't understand why Jimmy's standing up to break.
I thought they had to pick their match order before you lag, though.
No, if you lose the lag, you pick your player. So therefore,
Declan's just holding his hand to apologise because the cue ball stayed on the table, but he missed the cannon on the 8 ball that he was after, so he still has work here.
Eight ball is of course the problem. Looking at taking the yellow into the right centre and leaving the one into the left centre, but I prefer this way. I'd be leaving this one into the right centre until last, and he'll just screw this off the side cushion with trace of right hand side just to straighten the cue ball up. He's a fraction short, so he's now pointing his tip at the red, and okay, worst case, you can see he's queuing up to the left hand side, which will narrow the angle that the cue ball comes into the red, which meant that he got it full ball and left himself on the double. It's a really, really well controlled shot.
And an excellent double to follow, so 2-0.
Liam White won the next and has the break in frame 4.
Yeah, they do look very, very dangerous indeed. Once again, another golden break, this time for Liam White. Absolutely incredible. That 8 ball is flying in tonight.
And Liam turns around to his partner Jimmy and says, "I told you let me break first every time." What about that for a celebration?
Reaction. He meant that one. Wow, it really is incredible tonight. You can go weeks without seeing a golden break. We've seen 3 tonight and a golden duck.
Ronan got it moving as well.
Yeah, and Ronan's breaking with huge power all of a sudden.
It's like every time there's a golden 8 ball, every time one of these guys drops a massive bomb on these breaks, it's like it inspires the other guy and the other team to go, okay, I'm going to try and hit it even harder than that. For Ronan, that was hard.
Yeah, he's not blessed with the most powerful of breaks. Certainly improved over the last year or so, but it's still his biggest weakness, but not showing it there. And look at the chance he's left himself.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind a weakness like that, winning 5 tournaments on the spin.
Absolutely.
Needless to say, important visit this, 2 each, 4 minutes left on the clock.
Well, it's changed the whole dynamic of the match, hasn't it? It was 2-0, and Ronan had a chance there for 3-0 in that previous frame, and all of a sudden it's 2-2, and the clock is really ticking down.
Yeah, remember both these teams lost their first match, so whoever loses this match, presuming somebody does lose it, of course there can be a draw, but let's say somebody does lose it, they will be out.
If it does end in a draw, both pairs are still in, but only just. Oh, and Ronan just misses that one. He almost had to miss it thin to play it off the red rather than straight.
And Jimmy has a first shot. He has a window to pop this red into the top right corner and screw the cue ball across onto the left side cushion.
Just a little flick at the end makes all the difference. So Jimmy Croxton, who has struggled so far tonight, he's going to play safe.
Call the police.
Yeah, is this really Jimmy Croxton? Very rare to see Jimmy play safe. He could have potted that one, but I guess he felt this is the better way to go.
Yeah, cleverly contacted the yellow on the left side for two reasons. Firstly, he was getting the cue ball up the table and leaving distance, and secondly, hoped to tie the red up with the yellow.
Beautiful shot from Jimmy, floats it in. He knew he had some confidence there that the yellow at the top doesn't go, but he drops it in and gets himself on this red. Still a couple of balls on the cushion and an 8-ball in a tricky position here, but
played this well. Purposely playing on this red to the top right corner to screw across to play on the one to the bottom left corner, because the other one offers the best position for the 8-ball, and he slightly quit on that one. Wanted to be closer. When I say quit on it, it means that he decelerated a fraction. He actually thought he'd missed the red for a second. He just stopped in his tracks.
And this one he misses by quite a distance, although he's had a little bit of fortune there by hitting the yellow full ball. Hasn't left anything on for Ronan, but Ronan should just be thrilled to get to the table here.
Can he get the cue ball into the left jaws? Does that protect the red enough? I think no. I think he can pot this, and I think he probably will pot it, but hold on to your hats with the cue ball. They could go anywhere.
Oh, he misses the red altogether. Incredible. Cue ball in hand now then for Ronan McCarthy. All eyes on the clock. 50 seconds left for Ronan to pot 4 balls and to get his pair in front.
Yeah, here's me saying I think he's going to pot it. Misses it altogether.
Oh, and Ronan gets his dancing shoes on, runs around the table.
No better man you want to dance these in for you than him, I can tell you. And he's going to time this to absolute perfection.
In goes the 8-ball. When does the cue ball stop? Cue ball stops with 3 seconds left. Gets the 8-ball moving, but not towards a pocket, and that brings an end to the match. Declan Brennan and Ray McCarthy get their first win on the board. It keeps them in the night. Jimmy Croxton and Liam White are essentially out.
Liam White couldn't repeat his magic and a golden break, and that hands the win to Ronan McCarthy and Declan Brennan. On to the always key 4th match.
And qualification in their own hands. Shaun Chipperfield with the opening break of the match. And this time he has balls flying in everywhere. Another crunching break in tonight's group. Look at that, absolutely flushes it. Cue ball straight down the middle of the table, and they start flying in everywhere.
You have to say it's been a fantastic night of breaking so far, hasn't it?
It really has. 3 golden breaks and a golden duck.
But I mean, the golden breaks and golden duck aside, I just think that the standard of the breaking tonight has been very, very high. I think everyone's hitting him with a serious amount of power, making balls, getting the balls flying all over the table. Okay, maybe haven't left the easiest of layouts. Some of the frames, probably as easy a layout as the breaks have deserved, but I do think it's been a very high standard of breaking tonight.
I think we've only seen 2 dry breaks on the night, and that was one of them was the first break of the whole night, where Chippy got 13 balls past the centre line, and that was one of the dry breaks that we've had. Just to emphasise your point. Yellow's just awkward. Just haven't quite got hold of this visit at the moment. We've seen it all night long, though. The first frame has always been huge. It's been like this the whole way through the competition, to be fair. I mean, in these short races, the opening Scotch frame is so valuable.
That tells me that the yellow that's in the middle of the table there, the one closest to the cue ball, it does pass into the top left corner.
The attention he's giving it tells me he's a little bit tight, though.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have all of the pocket, but you can see from where the red is, it does pass. Well, he's changed his mind. He's playing the other one. And he's going to leave it for the bottom right corner. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the previous shot, they just bumped the 8 ball, which opened up the path to the bottom right-hand corner for this shot.
I like that shot because if he under it, he's okay. You can just soft screw the cue ball. If he over it, he's okay. You can just get the cue ball by the middle and leave it black from a little bit of a mid-distance, if you like, but killed that nicely. Good thinking that from Karl on the couple of shots before, bearing in mind the bleeps were going off in his ear.
His Pairs Cup partner, Karl Sutton. Oh, it barely touched that break and they absolutely exploded. Nearly potted the cue ball, but been handed a lovely lay of the table from it.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the referees get a lot of stick when they don't get the balls touching every time, and the players moan about they've got a slat rack or a slug rack, or it's the referee's fault for this. So I think it's important that we praise when somebody has an unbelievable night racking the balls. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but I do think so far tonight our referee Orich has had an incredible night. I think every single rack he's got absolutely perfect. Even the ones, like I say, take away the golden breaks and stuff, every single one have completely exploded. Okay, the players on show tonight are all fantastic players and time the ball really well, but the way that the balls have been breaking tonight, a huge part of that is down to our referee.
And we've seen that from him over the last few weeks as well. You wait though, Gareth, when you play in a couple of weeks' time, you'll be expecting it. You might get one.
Yeah, well, the table will have been reclothed by then as well. It is getting done next week, which does change everything again. From a referee's point of view, it does make things easier. What happens on these super fine fast cloths is there becomes a little bit of a divot where the front ball sits, which makes it hard to get all the balls touching, and that is what a good rack is, Simon. Can't beat a good rack. Is that all of the balls are touching.
Well, this one's just gone wrong for John. Tough shot here. Knocks it in very casually indeed. He's actually very good at those awkward bridging shots.
And The reason why at English pool especially those bridging shots are so much harder is because, of course, the cue ball is smaller than the object balls. So when it's close to another ball like that, it's sort of doubly hidden. And you have to elevate the cue even higher. And just as we're praising that shot, for him, misses an absolute sitter.
Yeah, big surprise, that one. Having made the one in the middle, you expected him to run those out. Very disappointing miss, and already 1-0 down. Now a wide open chance here for Shaun Chipperfield to make it 2-0. Although he just lets the cue ball run a little bit loose on the first shot, but he has a backup route if he needs it.
Again, working backwards, so it'll be the 3 balls in bulk. Yellow on the side rail as his penultimate ball, and then the other one just underneath the 8 ball as his last ball. So he purposely leaves the natural angle to just top off the side cushion. Won't overdo this, doesn't want to bring the middle pocket into play. So you see lands purposely short. Does make the game look sillily easy at times, Shaun Chipperfield.
It's so casual, isn't it? He's down and he hits. Looks simple. And he really does run through that in a really simple way. Lovely counter clearance.
The next 2 frames were shared. Shaun Chipperfield has the break at 3-1 up.
You very often see players change their tip a few hours before. Wow, absolutely butchered this break in terms of losing control of the cue ball. But balls just seem to keep flying in the pockets off every single break, no matter how you hit them or what the cue ball does.
I think that's the worst break I've ever seen Shaun Chipperfield hit in terms of quality of contact. He completely mishit it. Nearly missed the front ball. That's how bad he hit that break, but they have flown in everywhere. What's he made? 2 reds and 3 yellows. Incredible. And a beautiful positional shot to get the visit started.
It is, and the reason it's such a good shot is because he's got the angle to screw down and attack these 2 balls. The one that's closest to the 8 ball, in between the red and the 8 ball, is the problem ball.
Here the klaxon for a time foul. It certainly wasn't.
Shake of the head there, because it's definitely a problem ball now, because I don't think it goes in the left centre. What about that? Oh, if he's on that, that is a fantastic shot, because he got so much right-hand side on that, especially, as I was mentioning, he's got a new tip on. Those are the shots with a new tip that are hard, and those ones spinning it in.
Wow, what a couple of shots on the trot from Shaun Chipperfield, and this 8 ball for the win. 3 break clearances in the match for Chipperfield and Sutton.
Josh Kane and John McAllister were straight back on and needing a win to put the pressure on. And they did win the opening frame against the already eliminated Jimmy Croxton and Liam White.
Oh, 8 balls flying again.
Oh, another sledgehammer of a break. Of course, we were talking about the size of Josh Kane's tip. He obviously uses a break cue. He couldn't be breaking with a 7-point-something mil tip. He did snap, hitting it at that pace. So he's got a break cue and
hit it so well as well. Absolutely flushed it. Balls flying in it from everywhere.
Yeah, it'll be yellows. First shot. I like the yellow in the middle and stun onto the red and free the 8 ball. You could played on the skill shot, international rules. If you pot your ball, you can pot your opponent's ball in the same shot and continue your visit. So he'll play this with a little bit of backspin. See that? The reason for the backspin is that transfers onto the object ball and makes the object ball go forward you hit that with topspin, generally the object ball stuns dead. So again, depending on what you want to happen to the object ball would depend on what spin you transfer onto the cue ball.
Josh was immediately annoyed that he's not on the one over the top left-hand corner pocket. He has other routes, but he wanted to get rid of that one first.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I liked the first shot of screwing into the red to free the 8-ball, because the 8-ball doesn't pass into the right centre. And I think the only pocket it does go in is the left centre.
I think he shakes his head again because he's a little bit thin on the one to the left centre, and he's worried about not landing on the one at the top. Well, he can see it now. Just flicked the other yellow first, which moves it up to the top cushion. It's not quite been under control since the combination shot.
Yeah, and all this has been down to trying to, believe it or not, work out getting position on the 8-ball. I think this is actually fat okay. I don't think he needs to play any cannon, just drift the cue ball up through the gap, leave a thin cut on the one in the middle.
He played into the 8-ball and it's not knocked it on.
Yeah, and I don't think he needed to play into it. I think if he drifts down the middle of the table, clips the one into the middle, swings the cue ball around 2 cushions, he's guaranteed a shot at the 8-ball.
He's made it worse by making the cannon. This is very tough to get onto.
Can he screw past it? Somewhere where his hand is. Can he miss the 8-ball?
I think he'll take that. He's got a shot.
Yeah, he's got a cut into the middle. He'll definitely take that. It's not enough, so he can just concentrate on the cue ball. I say it's not enough into the left corner. The cue ball could go close to the middle where he's potting the 8-ball, unless he puts some side on.
Right in the heart of the pocket. Well, he dug himself a bit of a hole there, but good enough to get out of it. 2-0 ahead now for Kane and McAllister.
Liam White won the next frame. Josh Kane is now breaking at 2-1 up.
You know that your opponents have actually got to overtake you. Josh Kane, just going off the subject, almost every single time he breaks, he gets movement on the 8-ball.
Well, those that tuned in for the Players' Championship this year will know that Josh Kane won the prize for the most golden breaks in the tournament. He had 4 golden breaks, the most in the event, but he had 4 in 8 breaks. He had 3 in 1 match.
And it's not like he's getting direct movement. The 8-ball gets kicked. So it is, of course, luck, but
yellow ball's in play.
You have to ask, how does it keep happening so often?
It's interesting, actually, because he's doing it in a different way. When he got those 4 golden breaks in the Players' Championship, he was cut breaking, but today he's going front ball and he's still getting it moving.
If he has the angle on the one in the left middle, he has to play the cannon onto the red. And does, and played it well.
Slightly awkward into the right centre here, but it's the key to the frame from where they are.
Yeah, and he has a big pocket as well. Not that he needs it.
Makes the pot, just lets the cue ball run a little bit loose. He's obviously not happy. Knows he's put his partner under it a little bit here.
Yeah, that's a poor one. He's now having to swerve it. See how he's elevated the back of the cue? He's just nipping around it. And as we said, lose position once, it can snowball. And it is a little bit here. Okay, he's on this to the top corner and he can top forward. Nice shot.
And now they can manage the clock. Just let it run down to the beeps. They're going to go 2 frames ahead with this 8-ball. which was unmissable. But it might be Josh Kane and John McAllister's night, because they get their second win on the night. They have done all they can.
On to our last match of the night. A win or a draw for Shaun Chipperfield and Karl Sutton will see them through to finals night once again. A win for Declan Brennan and Ronan McCarthy will take us to a 6-red shootout.
Declan Brennan and Ronan McCarthy in action against last year's winners, Shaun Chipperfield and Karl Sutton, who have won their opening 2 matches. A draw or a win in this match for Chippy and Sutton, and they will go through to finals night once again. If Declan and Ronan can win, then we are going to a 3-way 6-red shootout. And Chipperfield and Sutton have first chance. Declan miss-hit that break. He's been breaking well tonight, but he did miss-hit that one.
And just have a look at these yellows. That's the finish you want, isn't it, when you need to win the match to be guaranteed to go through? Or, of course, a draw gets you through.
At this stage, I mean, you've been in this situation. At this stage, does the draw is a nice, almost like a comfort blanket. You can't play for a draw, but it's nice that you kind of, if it gets tight towards the back end of the match, then you've got that you can play with the match clock and really then start to think about it. But at this stage, you just want to get yourself in front, I guess.
Yeah, you're still thinking about winning the match, just the same you are the very first match or any other match that you play. It's just, as you say, the comfort of knowing that they actually have to beat you. I definitely think it helps that these two are really good friends and they practice a lot together, so they'll fully understand how each other play and know how each other think and know the pattern that the other one is going to take. They'll certainly know the strengths and weaknesses of each other if they practice so much with one another, and I definitely think all of that helps in this situation, as opposed to maybe two guys that just come together and play and don't necessarily know each other that well or practice with each other.
I think it's been a theme of the competition this year. I think we've seen pairs that come in, and the more comfortable you are with each other, the easier and the better it can be out there for you.
Shot left an angle that means you can get the cue ball away from the cushion.
Just the start. They wanted a reverse clearance.
A break clearance for Karl Sutton put his pair 2-0 up, but a response from Ronan McCarthy, he did the same in frame 3 to put his pair on the board.
Oh, 8-ball is flying, but nothing else is going to drop either. Oh, it is just what the Northern Irish pair needed.
Yeah, and if Declan can get through to this yellow that he's closest to into this left corner,
it's tight, but he can.
The yellow that's touching the red on the left doesn't pop, but it does pop off the other yellow, or he can break it out with the middle yellow.
Well, the fact they're coming down the table, are we being deceived? Does that go?
Well, when we saw the replay of the break, I closely watched that yellow and it seemed to sit on top of the red. That's the reason I said it doesn't pot. And I still don't think it does pot. The way they've gone about these, it must do.
Yeah, there's no way.
As you can see there, I think it does.
Yeah, we get fooled so often. They're having a good look now, but there's no way they'd have gone about this finish this way if it didn't go.
Yeah, from that overhead. It looks like it's touching ball on the yellow.
8 ball's also awkward. All the attention's been on that yellow. The 8 ball's just in a slightly awkward position. It's not terrible. It does go in a couple of ways.
Yeah, they'll be potting the 8 ball in the right centre. How close behind it they get will depend on how good Ronan gets Declan on this last ball.
Well, nice angle just to drift across right behind it.
That's perfect, but I don't know what Declan's looking over there for. Surely just soft screw this in and play the 8 ball into the right centre.
Well, gone for the left centre and right behind it.
Yeah, it goes over here, and what a positional shot that is.
Oh, brilliant stuff from the Northern Irish pair.
And what do you give for one now?
Oh, massive, huge.
Look at the yellows.
Look at that.
And he deserves the yellows. Shaun Chipperfield put his head down when he saw that yellow get kissed into that top left corner. And I think that the match clock is going to be irrelevant now because of the standard of this match. They've all been clearances from the break. I think this one is going to be a clearance from the break. She'll probably leave around 5 minutes left on the clock, which means under the 15-second shot clock, even if it was to go to 3 each, I think there will be time to finish the last frame, providing that the balls don't go almost stupidly awkward.
Looking at the Chipperfield-Sutton partnership in the chair, I think they know this. They're expecting this frame to go with a break here, so they need to gear themselves up for the next frame. They only need to draw, remember. So, or has Declan come up short? No, he's okay.
He is short. The one that the cue ball's closest to, he played on that into the opposite corner. And he was going to leave 2 balls over the pocket to just go drop, drop, and play the 8 ball into the left centre. Major reroute now. Played that well. I think he can just drop it in. He's conscious of the cue ball running too close to the 2 reds. Slightly decelerated, but I think he's okay. He's found the channel between these 2 reds. Could not have played that shot any better. What about this for a standard? 5 frames. 5 clearances from the break. Yeah, remember, Declan and Ronan need to win. Shaun and Karl only need a draw, and he's fluked a ball.
Well, that could be huge. It's given him an opportunity here, but it's tough.
Well, yeah, but the problem that he had on the right-hand side of this yellow next to the 8 ball, the ball that he's just fluked, that was his breaker ball.
He's got to go, though. He can't afford Ronan to put him in trouble or tie him up. He has to find a finish. That yellow near the right centre pocket is very tricky. Yellow on the left-hand side, also tricky.
Oh, this will be some finish, given the circumstances and what it means of keeping these guys away from the carnage of 6 red shootouts, when you have to say they've been in control for most of tonight.
Oh, goes for a very, very tough double. It doesn't land. What does Ronan do then? Obviously,
he has to pot out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out whether he can get to the 8-ball and that will run down the clock enough.
Yeah, it will. I think it will.
Well, he may not get that far.
Oh, is he on the red into the right corner? He's coming around to have a look. If he is, he'll play it. He's not. And he's on the bleeps. What a shot.
Great shot.
What a shot.
1 minute 15 left.
Well, he's surely not going to pull back here, is he? Oh, he has to pot out.
Yeah, I'm with you. If he pots those 3 reds, that's 45 seconds, and then he can use 15 seconds on the 8-ball, and it doesn't matter if it goes in.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
He's going to get the benefit, though.
Yeah, it's not a mistake now.
Yeah, it's worked. Now he can use the shot clock, pot those 3 balls, and it doesn't matter what he does with the 8-ball. We're going to go to a shootout here, barring something very bizarre. Maybe a time foul might be one of them.
I don't know if he'd forgot there that ball in hand means anywhere on the table.
Yeah, because that's not the one you wanted to play.
No, because he should have been taking his awkward ball. It doesn't matter. I think it's all irrelevant now. He only needs to pot this one, and it's enough. It's done. We have a 6-red shootout.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have to play the next shot because the match clock is ahead of the shot clock. He can just walk over and shake hands, and he knows it. We are going to a 3-way 6-red shootout. What a night of pool.
Yeah, stick the kettle on.
That's incredible. And what a reaction from them as well.
18-19. And this could be that, if that pots that as well.
Excellent shot from John. The cue ball's going to be moving here,
Excellent
but don't miss.
Josh too.
Not the best, though. That wasn't the best.
Oh, no. Oh, panicked. Panicked, and last thing you need is space between balls. And this has started off a fantastic time and probably would have been around 20 seconds. Has turned into a bit of a disaster. Well, it's turned into a complete disaster. And where's he putting that one? See, that's what I'm saying. You can end up where it does turn into a horror show.
And they're going to concede. They're not even going to play it out. We have seen slower times win, so that's a strange decision as well. You might as well set the time, but they've just decided that enough is enough, and they have conceded, so they are essentially out. Okay, these 2 pairs left know what it's like to play in 6-red shootout in the pairs.
Carl's ready. Ooh, ooh.
Make your mind up.
Delay.
Time.
The red was running his way. He wanted to pot it in the corner, and the red running his way. But if this goes, which it hasn't. Okay, good shot. Okay, good shot. Cue ball's close to it, which means that this is going to be around 30, providing he pots this.
Well, excellent shot in the end. They were nowhere after a couple of shots, but they managed to pull it back and at least set a time.
They don't have to play any cannons, and they have 6 open shots at 6 balls. They will post something around 20-odd seconds.
Okay, 30.08 to beat. That's the official time. All eyes on the break. Not great, but not bad.
Exactly the same thing. He had to wait for the ball to pass. This is almost identical layout to the last one. The only difference is Ronan made that one where Shaun missed it further from distance.
Oh, Declan's missed. That's made things interesting.
They still have loads of time.
Yeah.
If they don't miss, they're through. Simple.
Oh, cue ball's running loose. They're gonna have to hit this.
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
He waited.
I think he's waited too long.
Oh no, he waited too long.
That's incredible. Well, we're waiting for official confirmation, but that felt like he had waited too long. We're going to get official confirmation on that. Yeah, and I've been told officially 31-18, and there you go. They now know it is official. The defending champions, Shaun Chipperfield and Karl Sutton, in the most bizarre of fashions, are through to finals night once again.